in a quaint little neighborhood, inside a slightly cluttered bachelor's apartment, a young man was living his single life quite contentedly. He wasn't known for his tidiness or culinary skills, but he loved his newfound independence. One day, in a burst of adult responsibility, he thought it was time to invite his mother over for a meal. It wasn't just about the food. He had recently gotten himself two new canine companions and was eager for his mother to meet the newest members of his small family. The day arrived, and his mother came over. She was always supportive and perhaps a little too observant for her son's comfort. As she entered the humble abode, she took in her surroundings, a mix of pride and maternal concern in her eyes. Her son, looking slightly more nervous than usual, guided her to the dining table for the meal he had prepared. However, as she sat down, ready to compliment her son's efforts, she noticed something she couldn't ignore. The dishes in front of her looked like they had been through tough times. They were covered in what seemed like layers of grime, and she could swear the patterns on the plates were obscured by the residue from countless meals before. Feeling a mix of apprehension and disbelief, she couldn't help but ask, her voice laced with concern, "Have these dishes ever been washed?" She ran her fingers lightly over the surface, the texture confirming her fears. Her son, seemingly unbothered by her discomfort, responded with an air of nonchalance. "They're as clean as soap and water could get them," he said, with a sense of finality, as though that explained everything. Biting back her initial reluctance and trusting her son, she decided to commence with the meal. To her surprise, the food was quite delightful, a stark contrast to the condition of the tableware. She made it a point to compliment the meal, trying to overlook the state of the dishes, attributing it to her son's bachelor lifestyle. Once the somewhat enjoyable and peculiar dinner concluded, the young man gathered the dishes. His mother's curiosity was piqued. Perhaps now she'd see some washing take place. Instead, her son carried the dishes toward the floor, put them down, and then, quite out of the blue, he gave a sharp whistle. Following that, he shouted at the top of his lungs, "Here soap, here water."